The Acolyte, Disney's most recent attempt at further desecrating Star Wars, just premiered, with 2 episodes on Disney+, and I have to say I am surprised and impressed at the same time. Surprised because I was expecting something awful, and this show managed to undercut even the lowest of my expectations. And impressed because those expectations were already on the ground, so good job, I guess. Showrunner Lesley Headland was very clear about this show being her fanfiction, and it shows in the writing for sure. She apparently watched Frozen, which gave her the inspiration to write a show in the world of Star Wars about sisters, that is a darker, grittier, edgier take on the universe with twists and turns and morally grey characters that shows the darker side of the Jedi Order, and features her favorite guy from Squid Game. But the only box I could tick from those is Squid Game guy. Yeah, he's in it, I guess. And I have to say I'm not very impressed by his showing here, though I liked him a lot in Squid Game. Here he comes off as awkward and wooden, and he's not a credible Jedi Master at all. But more importantly, Headland's claims about this show do not really hold up so far. There is nothing new or edgy about this show. It is not very dark, it is extremely predictable so far, bogged down with truckloads of exposition, wooden dialogue and acting, characters I couldn't care less about, and some serious plot armor and forced writing. The only redeeming quality so far is the main actress, sort of. I know a lot of you will disagree with me on this one, but I think she's trying more than anyone in the show. The characters she portrays are nothing to write home about, they are bland and poorly written at best, but at least she's giving it her all. But let's get into the details. The series opens with a bar fight scene, where Evil Twin kills Jedi Trinity, and I have to say one of my earliest concerns about this show was that hand-to-hand martial arts do not translate well into a world with lightsabers and blasters. It's pretty obvious that anime Sith Lord is making Evil Twin go through some sort of rite of passage with the idea of not using a weapon, but this falls apart in the first 5 minutes of the show. Evil Twin attacks Trinity, but due to her reluctance to fight, she literally starts abusing and hurting civilians. Of course, Jedi Trinity does not let that happen for long, but please, throughout this whole scene, she has her lightsaber at hand and just refuses to use it. And before you come at me saying, actually, that's because she thinks Evil Twin doesn't threaten her life, so she feels no need for it. First off, Trinity knows the girl is a Force user, so she is clearly very dangerous. She sees her hurting civilians, and there is no plausible explanation as to why she refuses to disarm her, at least. And I mean literally disarm her. Obi-Wan cuts off a guy's hand in the first Star Wars movie for way less. And Trinity refusing to even try to win this fight, wound her opponent, and find out what she's up to is just dumb, because it screams the plot said so. Fast forward, we see the same girl who killed Trinity as a mech on a ship in space, as she stares into open fire, yes, a literal campfire on the side of a spaceship, and reminisces about her past. Yes, I know there was fire in space in previous Star Wars movies as well, but usually they were explosions and very brief, and when you try to have a more realistic, spacewalk-like scene in Star Wars, where we have seen people without any protection in space before, that is kind of counterproductive. Either go for more realism, or just don't care about it at all. The mixture of it feels odd. And just one more nitpick. Mech? Come on, you really couldn't come up with something better in the place of mechanic? Or maybe just use that word? Not everything has to be space mumbo-jumbo. So anyway, we meet the least likable character, so far, in Yord, a dumb Jedi Knight, and we quickly learn that this girl was training to be a Jedi. And by learn, I mean Yord just reads out her biography to the screen. A tad more obvious form of exposition would have had him reading a script from hand. And right off the bat, the first mystery is already solved, if you have more than 1 IQ. It was blatant that this girl and evil girl are twins, or at the very least are not the same people. And this occurs a lot in this show so far, instant gratification. The mysteries are obvious from the start, and they are mostly resolved within minutes, or at least within the episode. So Yord, for some reason, does not take Good Twin with him, but puts her on a separate prison ship that will transport her to the exact same place he is going, because what could go wrong? And why have a Force user, suspected of killing a Jedi, securely locked up with you, keeping an eye on her? Oh yeah, the script had to get her to this other planet, my bad. And after meeting some more unlikable wooden characters and an absolute yikes of a scene with naked Yord, I guess they wanted to give him at least some credit for training for this show, the episode closes out with anime Sith guy reciting the cringiest end monologue and posing with his lightsaber for no reason in the joke of an ending to this episode. But fret not, we have one more. Good Twin is cleared of guilt, basically within the first 10 minutes of the second episode. And I don't mean for the viewers, for everyone in the show. Remember instant gratification and pointless pseudo-mysteries? Yep. And then the episode drags on for a miserable half hour of Evil Twin killing another Jedi, or more like just euthanizing him by offering poison, further forced exposition about how the twins are angry at each other, and how Good Twin holds Evil Twin responsible for her family's death, and another pointless martial arts scene, It just doesn't work for me, man. It does make more sense in this episode, at least we know that Squid Game guy doesn't want to hurt the girl and feels guilty in some way, but I just can't shake the feeling of why he doesn't just disarm her, either with his lightsaber or with force, which he's clearly capable of. Speaking of capable, Evil Twin gets out of the pickle of a situation by force blowing dust into everyone's eyes and running away. And ridiculously enough, as she had an amazing chance at killing at least one but probably both Jedi, she runs off, only to meet Good Twin, who fires not one, but two point-blank shots that miss her by a mile. Talk about Stormtrooper aim, all you want, but even they hit Leia with a similar gun from the same range. And then we close by a short scene with a Wookiee Jedi, which is anything but an intriguing cliffhanger, and that's it. That is the Acolyte premiere. We have a plot that keeps explaining itself, twists that get solved within the same episode, a bunch of unlikable characters reciting wooden dialogue, fire in space, and hand-to-hand combat in a world with lightsabers and blasters. Thanks, Disney. And I have to say, anyone who is actually surprised by the outcome of this mess is tripping. We have a body-hire showrunner who has no business doing Star Wars, hiring people who haven't even seen Star Wars, and whose most important point always is of course their gender identity.
Younger as a queer person,
Gotcha.
The concept of true love being between two sisters and not a heterosexual relationship, like it just...
If you look at her track record, it is actually insane that she got this gig. And I can't wait for the myriad of critics who will no doubt adore this show and call out the misogynistic, sexist Star Wars trolls for not liking it. And I can't wait to be told that I didn't like this show because I hate women, deflecting any actual valid criticism of the show. And funnily enough, all the usual suspects are here, the capable, quirky girl bosses and the flawed, dumb or evil males surrounding them. But the thing is, that is the least of the show's worries, seeing that we have just watched 2 episodes of nothing, a joke of a plot, and a script that feels like it was written by a self-obsessed modern diversity hire with no clue what she's doing. Oh wait, it was.
As a queer person...
Gotcha.
Stay tuned for much more content on this channel and the continued coverage of the Acolyte, so subscribe to make sure you don't miss them. And as a perk, you become part of the 1% elite of subscribed viewers of mine. Also, check out this video I did on the state of Disney Star Wars as a whole, and see you soon.